In the name of the warrior, I charge you to be brave. In the name of the father, I charge you to be just. In the name of the mother, I charge you to defend the innocent. Arise, a knight of Lennon's Rest.
Hello, I'm Hyunil, the game director of Game of Thrones, Kingsroad. Until now, I've only been able to connect with you through developer notes, so it's truly an honor to meet you in video. First of all, we want to thank everyone who participated in our various test phases. Your passion, thoughtful feedback, and dedication to the game have meant a lot to the entire team. We've worked hard to reflect as many of your suggestions as possible, and I sincerely hope the improvements met your expectations. Today, I'm excited to personally answer some of the questions and feedback you've shared with us so far.
Hi everyone, I'm Richard, narrative designer on Game of Thrones Kingsroad. You might have seen me in one of the dev playthroughs that we've released for the game, and if not, then I'm happy to meet you today and tell you a little more about our plans for the story and the world moving forward.
Since this is my first real opportunity to communicate directly with you, I'd like to talk about some of the feedback we received during early access. First, let's talk about Field Boss matchmaking. Field Bosses are multiplayer content that allow up to 12 players to participate together. During the early access period, we had them spawn frequently so that many players could take part. However, we noticed that because they appeared so often, players were more spread out, and it actually made it harder for groups to come together and enjoy the content fully. To improve this, we're planning to reduce the number of times Drogon appears each day. We understand this will lower the number of attempts players can make, but we believe it's more important to create an environment where people can enjoy the content together. That said, if this change doesn't have the positive impact we're hoping for, we'll absolutely listen to your feedback and make adjustments again.
Among the feedback to the early access version of the game and the closed beta we had earlier, there were a lot of requests about additional language support. We're happy to let you know that we plan to support Portuguese and Turkish at launch. In order to provide players with the best possible experience, the game will launch in selected regions first. But if your country is not on this list, don't worry. We will gradually launch in more and more territories so that we can provide a stable and enjoyable experience to players all over the world. Although it's difficult to give an exact date at this point, what I can say is that we plan to make the game available in most Asian countries before the end of the year. Please look forward to it, and we promise it'll be worth the wait.
Next, I want to talk about the Founders Pack and the availability of optional purchasable items within the game. For those who joined early access through the Founders Packs, these were designed to include a sample of the various purchasable items that will be available at launch. To thank our Founders Packs players for helping us fine-tune the game, additional costumes that can be used by all classes were sent to all players who purchased the Founders Pack. We're also preparing additional rewards for early access players before the official launch. Game of Thrones Kingsroad is designed with player control in mind, ensuring a rich and rewarding experience regardless of optional purchasable items, as they are not essential to fully enjoy all aspects of the game. Next, I'd like to talk about the RP system. We closely reviewed player feedback and gameplay patterns from early access, and we identified several areas for improvement, which we're currently working on. One of the biggest points was a shortage of RP. The original intent of the RP system was to help manage fatigue and ensure players could still earn meaningful rewards, even with limited playtime. However, many of you shared that the current RP supply felt too low, which made the overall experience less satisfying. We completely understand this concern, and the team is actively discussing balance adjustments to increase the daily amount of RP provided. Another point we heard was that there isn't too much to do once RP runs out. Right now, players can still take part in content like Field Bosses or explore Westeros after using up their RP, but we agree there's room to offer more. We're working on adding new types of content, including exploration, challenges, and co-op content to keep things engaging even beyond RP. We'll do our best to bring these updates to you as soon as possible.
If you've played our early access build, you'll have already explored the snowy regions of the north, the stained opulence of the Red Keep, and the lush green meadows of the Reach. Ultimately, our goal is to bring the entirety of Westeros to life, with that same level of detail and authenticity. The next region we'll be visiting is one that hasn't received a lot of love in either the books or the show, the Stormlands, ruled by Stannis Baratheon. Our level and background teams work very hard to give each region its own distinct vibe, and the Stormlands live up to their name with a dark and oppressive feel and atmosphere. Matching the region's tone, the narrative for this next chapter will be slightly darker as well. We'll dive a little more into the aspects of religion and what it would mean to a medieval society like that of Westeros to have their king suddenly declare that all the people under his rule are now obliged to change their faith to that of a god whose name they can't even pronounce. I hope you'll enjoy playing through it as much as we did writing it.
We've talked through many of the questions and suggestions you've shared with us. Our aim has always been to deliver a more polished and complete experience, but we recognize that there were areas like bugs and overall stability where we still have work to do. There may still be moments ahead where things don't meet expectations. But when that happens, we're committed to responding quickly, addressing issues, and keeping communication open as we work to improve. We'll continue working to make Game of Thrones Kingsroad even better moving forward. Our goal is to keep listening closely to your feedback and provide gaming service in a way that reflects our voices. See you in Westeros.
The launch date for Game of Thrones Kingsroad is getting closer and closer, and the team's got all hands on deck to make sure that we provide you all with the best possible experience. Personally, I think that the game's narrative only gets better and better the further you play, and I hope you'll feel the same when the game launches in full. Until then, and see you on the Kingsroad.